good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson with me, your teacher of civic education, Agrechi Bula. Today we are looking at the topic called the Constitution. You should need to know what a Constitution is. Therefore, we're also going to look at the types of the Constitution. It's very, very important. I know this is grade 8 lesson that you particularly need to understand concerning the topic that we have together. It's very important to define what a constitution is as we go down to look at other issues pertaining to the constitution. All right, thank you very much. Wherever you are watching us from, please catch us so that you don't remain behind. Let us move together. Once again, you are welcome. Grade 8 lesson. Okay, the Constitution. We need to define what is the Constitution. The Constitution is defined very, very funny and is very interesting. Okay, we need to know what it is. Then from there, we'll look at where does it apply. Okay, so by definition, we say the Constitution, okay, is the set of rules or principles or regulations which are used to govern the country. Okay, I'll say the Constitution is the set of rules, the set of principles, the regulations that are used, okay, by any government or any leadership, depending on the setup. Okay, that is used to do what? To govern the activities that are being taken in any institution. All right. So we need to know. We know which areas are used. Meaning the areas that are where the Constitution is applied. Okay. Let me just try to define the Constitution in this way. Okay. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to appreciate the knowledge to do with the Constitution. Okay. So, the Constitution is defined in this way. Constitution is a set of rules, okay? It can be rules, okay? The rules, principles, or regulations. The regulations that are used, that are used, okay, to govern a country. Okay, we are saying the Constitution is a set of the rules, okay, the rules. Things that are put in place that we are supposed to follow, the principles, which is almost one and the same thing, okay, that are giving us direction of where we are supposed to, what we are supposed to do. Regulations. Now, this aspect tells us that what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do. We are being regulated, okay, that are used to govern a country. All right. Now, it's a set, meaning that it's not one thing. It is a set of items, many things that are in place, that are telling us what we are supposed to do, what the government is supposed to do, what a leadership in any particular organization is supposed to do. Okay, so this is the definition, a simple definition of the Constitution. You may put it in any way that you understand it, but it should change the meaning or as the way it is here. All right. Now, there are areas where a constitution is applicable. When we talk about the Constitution, as we are saying, it is a set of rules. When we go to any home, I'm sure in any home, any school, any church, or any other organization that we have in place that we can mention, they have got their own constitution. Okay? So they've got the constitutions that they use. Okay, which is guiding them in the operations, everyday activities that they do. They follow the regulations, they follow the rules, they follow the principles according to what they're supposed to do. Even people who do business, they've got a constitution. Business partners, people who do business, they come together to team up. They follow certain regulations that these are our dons if we are to succeed in our business. These are our do's if we are to succeed in our business. Constitution. They are being regulated, okay? They are being, directed by the rules, the principles. If they do something beyond what the rules are saying, meaning that they are not doing well, they won't do well, they will not mean well, they will fail at some point. Okay, that is that. So we are saying areas where the Constitution applies. The home, in a home setup, there are rules that children are given to follow by their parents and or guardians. Okay, at church, they've got their own constitutions. Okay, and the business entities, like we said, and as well as the schools. Okay, thank you so very much. As you can see now on the part of the subtopic here, we're saying the types of the Constitution. Having understood, having known what the Constitution is, it's very important now that we need to understand the types of the Constitution. We are going to talk about two, okay? Two types of the Constitution. All right? Two types of the Constitution we're going to discuss this word of afternoon. All right. Now, the first type of Constitution that we look at. Let's say types of Constitution. What is this that we are talking about? Okay, the types of Constitution. The types of Constitution. Number one. Take note of this one, we need to understand it very well. Types of Constitution. Number one, the first type of the Constitution, which I said we are looking at two, okay? You see, the rigid, okay? Rigid Constitution. What is a rigid Constitution? What is a rigid Constitution? All right? Rigid Constitution. Let's try to understand. Now, from the word, the first word here, rigid. Something that is rigid. If we bring something, let's try to discuss this word rigid before we talk more on the rigid Constitution. Something that's rigid is something that is not flexible. It is something that is hard, okay? It's very hard. It doesn't move. If I become rigid, like the way I'm standing here, I become rigid, I will not be able to fidget. I will not be able to move. I will not shake, okay? I become static like this. I'm rigid. Someone can come to push me, I'll just fall like this. It's like a paused, okay? That's rigidity. Now, that is the first. Now, let's bring it back to the Constitution as a type of Constitution. When a Constitution is said to be rigid, how is it? Okay? This is, in short, in definition, we can say the rigid Constitution is the one that cannot be easily changed. I'm not saying a rigid Constitution cannot be changed. Take note of this one, mark these words. I'm not saying it cannot be changed, but it is difficult to change. Meaning that there are certain processes that are supposed to be followed before finally a constitution is changed. You need to understand that one. It's very important for you and me to understand that a rigid constitution involves certain processes before it is finally altered, before it is finally changed, okay, to bring in new things. So maybe we can just define to say this is a type of constitution. This is the type of constitution which is not easy, to alter or change. Okay, it's not easy to change. This is the type of constitution which is not easy to change. This cannot be easily changed. You need to follow certain processes. The way you framed the constitution, the way you made it, if you involved a lot of people, That is how you are going to also change it. If you skip a certain procedure, then you are not doing the right thing. So the government, whenever the government of any country is trying to change the constitution to bring in new things, they are supposed to involve various stakeholders just like they are involved when framing it. That is how it goes. Okay, that is how it moves. That is the rigid constitution. It involves, we can add this one, it involves various processes, okay, to get it changed. Okay, I can give an example like in Zambia we have got a constitution. So this constitution, for it to be changed, it needs to meet the majority vote. Okay, the Zambian constitution is supposed to be changed using the majority vote. Take for example, when you go to parliament there, in parliament, if you want to change the constitution, there are two things that we are involving, okay, in Zambia. It's either the referendum. The referendum is simply the changing of the constitution through voting. There's a nationwide casting of votes to change the constitution. Let people also participate. If people refuse to say it cannot be changed, it will never be changed. It will remain the same. Take for example what had transpired in 2016 general elections in Zambia. As we were voting during the tripartite elections, we are also voting for the constitution during the referendum. But unfortunately, people said no. It failed to pass. We did not manage to change because people did not vote. In short, they voted against it. Okay, that is that. That is changing of constitution through voting, referendum. Then the other part, you go to the parliament. The parliament there's what we call the majority vote. 2/3 of the majority vote. We are talking about 156 members of parliament in the National Assembly. Okay, if this happens that the parliament vote reaches 2/3 majority, meaning that the constitution can be changed. If it fails, then they cannot do what? They can't change the constitution. Now, what does this simply mean? What does it mean here? I'm still explaining on the rigid constitution. It is not easy to change. You need to involve various stakeholders. That's what I'm trying to put across there. The example I'm giving you, the 2/3 or the majority in parliament. If you look at this one, 3 there, 1, 3 into 15, there I've got 5. So I've got 56. So you say 56 multiplied by these 2. What does it give? We look at this one. What does it give? Let's see, have 52, not 56. Let's use 52 because we have cancelled that one. Okay, 52. So 52 multiplied by 2 here, we'll get 104 votes. Okay? So if it reaches 2/3 of the majority vote, meaning that we have managed to change the constitution, so it will pass. It will have to be changed that way. That's a simple calculation that we use. Parliamentary vote. Okay, that is the first one. Remember, we are still, I was explaining on the rigid constitution. The one that cannot easily be changed. It can only be changed through using the majority vote or through using the majority vote can either be 2/3 or half of the population during the referendum. Thank you so very much. Right, now the second one. I'll have to wrap, but I'll just write it here. Then I have to wrap. Let me look at this one, the second one. The second one is the flexible. It is the opposite of the other one. Flexible constitution. The flexible constitution. Okay. What is this flexible constitution? Flexibility. We're talking about flexibility. Earlier I gave an example of something that is rigid and I explained what rigidity is. Now I want to explain what flexibility is here. When a constitution is said to be flexible here, meaning that it can be twisted, easily changed, okay? You can easily remove it. okay, of course using certain standards that are supposed to be followed there. All right, it's not just a matter of waking up and change. Now the government can still change the constitution, or the country can still change the constitution using this the flexible. Okay, all right. So when you look at these the types of constitution there, these are the forms of this constitution. We should be able to understand flexible, something that you can change, meaning that this, well, let's say this is a constitution. This is a constitution which can easily be changed. Okay, the type of constitution that can be easily changed. Okay, meaning that here you don't need to involve maybe a lot of stakeholders, maybe a few individuals or processes can be followed before it is finally changed. Okay, before it can be finally changed, you need to just involve a few stakeholders. It's very easy. Okay, you don't need to follow a lot of procedures, this and that, but it can just be changed in that way. All right, that's the flexible constitution in that manner. Flexibility, it is very flexible, it is easy. Okay, it is easy to undo. The way you did it, that is the same way you are going to use also to do what? To undo it, because it is very, very easy. I'm sure by now we have understood these types of the constitution that are there. All right. Now, when we talk about this constitution, the two types of the forms of constitution in this aspect, the constitution can be written or unwritten. Okay, let me just try to bring in this one in place. Let me try to bring this one as we are just moving towards the end here. All right, let's now look at this one. Written and unwritten constitution. Written and unwritten constitution. Okay, the written and unwritten constitution. Right, we are just talking about the written constitution. What is the written constitution and what is unwritten constitution? Okay, of course, written constitution, number one, we say written constitution. Okay, written constitution, the written one. Of course, the written one is this is a type of constitution. This is the type of constitution that is written down in a specific, okay, specific document. Okay, like the national constitution, the one that is being used in parliament, the one that is being used by the whole country, because it is written, it has got, regulations that are written down. Okay, all the regulations are written down. Okay, that is the written. It is saying the specific document, specific meaning that all things that are involving the operations, okay, in the government system or in any organizations, they've got this specific document where the regulations are written in it, because it is written down. Okay, that is the written constitution. Then the second one, the Unwritten. Okay. Unwritten Constitution. Unwritten Constitution. This one is based, so we can say this is based on people's, okay, this one is based on people's traditional, this one is based on people's traditional and cultural, practices. Let me explain something on this one to differentiate a written from the unwritten constitution. Okay, so this one is based on people's cultural practices or traditional practices according to their local understanding. Those practices or the traditions, they do not necessarily need to be written down in one single document, but they are supposed to be, they can be disintegrated, okay? They have to be fragmented in different books according to the people's different cultural backgrounds, because we have got different cultural diversity, okay? Cultural diversity, like in Zambia. Therefore, people believe in different customs, they've got different traditional understandings, different norms. Therefore, according to their local understanding is what they believe in. But the government is also giving that tribute. They give respect to people's cultural understanding, cultural beliefs. So that is another constitution. Okay, so what people agree to do in their local setup is what will be done. The government is always in agreement with that. So I just needed us to just maybe understand also the written and unwritten constitution. So that is how far we can maybe go up to now. In the next time when we meet, we're going to look at, as we just look at the constitution comparatively, we're going to look at now what the constitution includes. We're going to look at what is included in the constitution, especially the Zambian constitution. That will be looked at in the next lesson. Please join us in the next lesson as we are going to look at what is involved or what is included in the Zambian constitution. As for this wonderful afternoon, I just needed us to look at the types of constitution. That is very, very important. I believe we have gotten 2 or 3 things. Please, I appreciate that you are there and you're going to join us again in the next lesson. Okay, thank you so much. This has been your teacher of civic education, Mr. Chibula Agri. For now, it's bye. Thank you.